Hi, in this video I want to teach you how to make the scarf for the set, for the little girl set. It's very easy to make, and look how nice it looks, the two of them together. They look gorgeous with those flowers and pompons hanging at the end. And here is the list of materials you're gonna need to make this beautiful scarf. To do the baby scarf for the set with the hat, the yarn I'm gonna use is the same yarn that I use for the hat, and is Red Heart Soft Baby Stuff. And like the name says soft, it is. It's a beautiful soft yarn for this kind of project. It's worsted 4 or medium 4, 100% acrylic, and this ball has 113 grams, and the color is Tickle, and it's a beautiful color. I'm gonna use the accent color, and it's gonna be this purple, and this one is Red Heart Comfort Sport. And with this one we're gonna make the flowers. If you come from the video, you're coming from the video of the hat, you'll know that I made a flower and 3 pompons for my hat. So for the scarf I'll be doing the same. I'm gonna be making 2 flowers this time and some pompons. I don't know exactly the amount of pompons that I'm gonna do for the scarf. The Tunisian crochet that I'm gonna use is 7mm, but since this one is so long and I'm gonna do a narrow project, I'm gonna use my regular crochet hook of 7mm. This is just a regular crochet, and you're gonna use the 4mm crochet hook for the flower. It's the same size that I use for the flower for the hat. You're gonna need tapestry needle, scissor, and measuring tape is optional, just in case you want to measure your project. But I'm gonna give you the amount of rows and measurement of my scarf, just in case you want to do the same length as mine. So let's start making our baby girl scarf. You're gonna have 2 options for the scarf. You can do them like this, starting narrow at the tip, and you can do 2 wide like this. But for mine, I'm gonna start like this, narrow. That way when I put the flower and the pompon, will look much better. We're gonna start with a slip knot. And if you're gonna make the scarf narrow in the tip and get wider like mine, you'll start with 6 chain. My scarf and the wider part is 14 loops, but if you want yours to be wide, from the beginning you will cast 14 chain or 16, or the amount of chain don't have to be even number, can be odd numbers. For the scarf you can do it until you have 20 chain. That will be quite wide enough even for a men's scarf. You can do this. Here I started, this was what I have left over from my hat, and I started doing the scarf, and it's very soft yarn. It's like amazing. And I started, like you see, narrow in the tip. That way when I put the flower and the pom-pom, it will look really nice at the end. So for mine, I'm gonna chain 6, 4, 5, and 6, and that loop is the first one of the chain number 6. Now we have to do 5 more, but this time I'm gonna turn my chain around, and I'm gonna work in this strand of yarn on the back in that loop. Okay, so you're gonna pass it through that loop. That way the scarf don't roll as much as if I don't do this through the back. If you don't want it to do it like this, and you wanted to do just a straight scarf with no rolling whatsoever, you can do the regular Tunisian stitch. That's the one that you work only on the front post. It's a little more difficult to pull that because each time you do that, this stitch is being pulled by the other stitch and the other side, and then get a little 3, 4, 5, and the last one 6. Now you're going to pass through 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. And now that was row number 1. For row number 2, we're going to do an increase in each end of the work. So here in between the first stitch and the second, we're going to pass our hook and pull our yarn through, and we'll have 2 loops. And now we're going to work inside that post. This is the knit stitch like we did for the hat, so it had to be inside those 2 posts. You're going to go, you have 3, 4, 5, and 6, and now we're going to go between number 6 and the next one, and we're going to make number 7, and then the last one we'll do between those 2 strands of yarn. Remember, you want always to work those strands. We'll make number 8. We start with 6, now we have 8. Now you pass through 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. Now again, we're going to go between the first stitch and the second one, and we're going to pass our yarn through. We have 2 loops. Now inside the stitch until we get to the last, the one before the last one, where we're going to do our increase, and in this row we'll have 10 stitches. And this is the last before the last one, and now in between those 2 stitches I'm going to pass my yarn through, and I'll do the last one, and I have 10. Like that I'm going to continue until I have 14 loops on my hook. So pass it through 1, and remember you can do this as wide as you like. But I think 20 will be wide enough for a scarf. Okay, now again, pass it between those 2 stitches. We have our loop, and then inside every stitch 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and now here 12. Pass it through 1, and then 2 at a time until you get to the end, and we're going to do one more row of increase until we have 14. We're going to work in those, we're going to work those 14 stitches in the next row. Okay, now we're going to do 14, and it will be the last increase, and this will be row number 5, the one I'm going to do the last increase. Now we're going to go between those 2 stitches, and then now inside every stitch 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now we're going to do 13 in between the 2 posts, and 14 on the last post, and remember always those 2 strands of yarn, like that. We're going to pass through 1, and then 2 at a time. And remember you can do this as wide as you like. Like that we finish our last row of increase. Now I'm gonna work the straight part of the scarf. This one that I was working so far, I roll there because I'm working in there, so that's why I roll back and measure 4.5 inches, 11 centimeters and a bit, or 11 centimeters, around that. That's what I measure, the width. So if you want to widen, go ahead and do more stitches, more increase. Now we don't gonna do increase, we're gonna work in the center of each stitch. See, you see the 2 posts there, you're gonna pass through the inside and pull your yarn through, like that. "12, 13, and 14, and always grabbing those 2, like that. And then you pass through 1 and 2 at a time. You see the one closer to the hook, and the next one, until you get to the end. Like that. I'm going to show you one more time. Pass inside the stitch. You see, you will see those 2 posts. You pass it through the inside and pull through until you get to the end. If you want to work the different stitch, for example the regular Tunisian stitch, that will be working only in the front post, no in between, only grabbing sideways that one, like this. Go to the next one, like this. I just wanted to show you, just in case you want to do your scarf just like that for a man, like that. This one will look total different than the net stitch, but for mine I'm working just net. That is in between the posts, to the back, yarn over, pull through, like that. So you will work the length that you desire for your scarf. I'm going to do mine off camera and I'll let you know how many rows and how many centimeters and inches I will give to mine before the decrease. Now I'm going to start with the decrease. I did 142 rows, and this one is 143 that I have on my hook for the beginning of the decrease. And those 142 rows measure 39 inches or 99 centimeters. Remember, if you want this bigger for a bigger kid, or you want it to wrap around your neck or the baby's neck, you do it longer. But this one it's not a wrap around. It's just a straight scarf. So to do the decrease, you're gonna pass it through 1. Now we don't want to pass it through 2, we're going to pass it through 3. Pass it those 3, and we have a decrease, and then you're going to continue working until you have 4 loops left on your hook, like this. I have 4 loops. I'm going to pass through 3 and now through 2, and that was a decrease in each end. Now we're gonna pass it through these 2 loops here to the back, and that makes sure that stitch look really nice, a little bit better than if you just work through 1. Now you go through the rest and you will have 12 loops on this row. 9, 10. Now again, pass it through those 2, 11, and 12. Now we're going to do again the decrease, and we're going to pass it through 1. Now we're going to pass it through 3 and 2 and 2 until I have 4 left on my hook. I have 4 left. Now I'm going to pass it through 3 and now through 2. Now again, I'm going to pass it through those 2 loops to the back, pull it through. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, through those 2 to the back, pull through. That is 9 and 10. Again, you pass it through 1, through 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, pass it through 3, and pass it through 2. You're going to continue like that until you have only 6 left on your hook. You have to do 1 more decrease, and then after that you'll have 6. I did the row of 8. I decreased into 8, and now I have 6 left on my hook, or 6 left here. And what I'm gonna do, I don't gonna cast them on, I'm gonna finish them off. I'm gonna pass through here. You see, and instead of continue and casting the 6, I'm gonna finish them with a single crochet. Pass it through and do a single crochet. Again, single crochet. Again, single crochet, and the last single crochet. I'm going to chain 1, cut the yarn, lose the tail, and you will go to the video of the flower, or if you already made the flowers, I will show you how to put them on our scarf. For this part you're going to need 2 flowers like this. I'm going to leave you the link for this flower here, and it's the same flower that I did for the hat, and the same type of pom-poms that I did for the hat. I did them with my finger. They're very easy to make. You don't need pom-pom maker and anything to make these little pom-poms. And you're gonna sew them here. And then on top of that, you're gonna sew your flower. And it will look like this. You can put 3, you can put 4, you can put as many pom-poms as you like. Don't have to be the same amount that you did for the hat. But you're gonna do that in the 2 ends the scarf, and look how beautiful this scarf look. Just like that gonna look. Now I'm gonna show you how to make the pom-pom, and for that you're gonna need the scissors, your yarn, and the 4mm crochet hook, the same that I use for my flowers. I'm gonna wrap my yarn in these 2 fingers over and over. To make the pom-pom. The more that you wrap your yarn on your finger, the thicker and it will look better your pom-pom. Continue wrapping around just like this. Like that. I'm gonna cut my yarn here, and I'm gonna grab the same yarn from the ball without cutting it. I'm gonna pass my crochet hook in between these 2 fingers, and I'm gonna pull this yarn through to the other side, and now I'm gonna make a knot here on the back. Now I'm gonna pull this out of my finger, and now I'm gonna secure that with a double knot. I'm gonna do another knot to make it even more secure. Now we're gonna do the chain for the pom-pom. We're gonna press the crochet hook through that strand of yarn that we did our knot, and we're gonna pass it, pull it through like that, and we're gonna do our chain. For one I did 12, for another one I did 14, and one 17. That way they are a different height. Let me count. I had to do one with 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and one more. Cut your yarn and leave long enough for sewing and pull through and tie that there. Okay. Now we're gonna finish our pom-pom. Always grabbing that chain, that way you don't cut it. I'm gonna open this, cut it in half, and now we're gonna give the shape of the pom-pom. I have this here to catch the bits and pieces. My daughter made that in class so long ago that I lost the shape. It used to be a ball out of cardboard. Okay. You can make different color pom-poms depending on the color of yarn that you are using. You can mix and match. Like for example, do 2 pom-pom in this color and 1 in the color of the yarn that you use for the scarf, or you can do them, you know, just all of them the same color as the scarf. Just use your imagination to create the pieces a little bit different than anybody else. Like this. Shape the pom-pom. And now I have my 6 pom-pom that I need for my end of the scarf. Because I'm going to put 3 and 3, exactly the same amount that I did for the hat. Okay. Now I'm ready to sew them to the scarf. To sew the pom-poms, I'm going to use my tapestry needle and this little gadget that is for passing my yarn through the eye of the needle. This thing is a life-saver because I'm going to, you see, I'm going to sew the 3 pom-poms at the same time, so it's very easy. Okay, now I'm going to come here. I'm going to pass them right here to the back. I'm going to sew them there. Remember, I'm going to sew the flower on top, so you don't going to see this here. And I'm going to sew the flower there off camera. To sew the flower, what I'm going to do is exactly the same as I did the hat. I'm going to sew them in these 2 single crochet in the center of the last petal, the longer one. Again to the single crochet, again the petal. I always going to be sewing just the outer petals, not the ones in the inside. So I will sew this off camera and I will show you the end result. Here I wanted to show you, if you like to leave the scarf just with the pom-pom like this without the flower, it looks really nice too. Here I have a suggestion. When you're sewing the flower, try to grab just the yarn on the top like this one's here on the top, the net stitch. Don't bring it right through to the back because you don't want to show them on the other side. Remember, this is a scarf and sometimes they flip back and forth and you don't want to see those long stitches in this size neither. In here was where I sew my pom-poms. You're only going to see those 2 stitches there. I brought it back to the right side and I finished them off in here because when I sew my flower, you don't going to see those stitches there. So you'll have a perfect back too, not just the front. From the 2 ball of yarn that I used for the set, this is what I have left. First I used one for the hat, and I had tons left over, and I started making the scarf with that one. And then after I have to attach this one, and this is what I have left from the 2 ball of yarn, and it's like almost 80 grams of yarn in here. This is the way the set gonna look like when you finish. It look fantastic. If you make this for a little girl, you're gonna make her really happy. It's beautiful. Remember, my model is from 0 to 3 months, and that's why it's too big for her. So this will be hanging in the front, and it looks really nice. I hope you guys like it and give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber. And if you make this piece and want to send me some picture, in the description box I'm gonna leave my link for my Facebook page, and you can send me pictures there or question anything you want to communicate with me through there. You are more than welcome, and have a beautiful day.